Hello again, friends, and welcome to another edition of The Haunting of KGGO.com. It's a KGGO.com exclusive. During the month of October, for those of you who don't know, we talk to different local paranormal groups about all the things that go bump in the night here in the state of Iowa and kind of around the state of Iowa. But this is Season 3 of The Haunting of KGGO.com. Don't forget, you can head to the website, kggo.com/haunting, and check out all the episodes we've done. Joining me on this edition, his name is Jim Beck, and he is the founder and lead investigator for Iowa Paranormal Investigation Society. Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Not much, man. What's up?
You know what? Just sitting around enjoying the day, and going to talk about some ghosts and stuff with you.
Cool. Yeah, I'm ready, man.
All right, so truth be told, Jim and I met, God, it's been a long time since we actually met, but walked into an investigation. I forget where we were, but it was like, who's that bearded, pissed-off guy over there?
The Albia Library.
And I recall that nothing much happened that night, at least not to me.
Yeah, there was like some K2 hits and but yeah, it was decent.
Jim, you're joining me on the line today for the Haunting of KGGO.com. We'll get to all the cool stuff you've done and all that, but the way I like to start out all these interviews is finding out how exactly you got roped into this weird and wacky world.
Well, growing up, always had weird experiences and couldn't really talk about it back then, because it was kind of a off limits, that don't exist. But had experience as a kid, pretty much growing up, teenager, high school, all that good stuff. Used to go to abandoned houses and explore them and with my friends, and had some kind of freaky happen at one place. Later on down the road, got married, and me and my wife bought the house that we are at right now in Allison. Pretty much this house is what actually made me start my own team.
Really? So, because there's kind of and I don't know if it's like a rule or whatever, but you hear a lot of investigators that don't investigate their own home, right?
Yeah. Our first investigation was actually our house.
What was it about the house that made you go, you know what, we might have something here?
The day that we drove by to look at the house, when we seen that it was for sale, my wife, as we were driving by, my wife saw an old lady standing in what, come to find out, is our dining room window, and didn't think nothing of it, figured somebody was home.
Yeah.
Well, we came back the next weekend with the realtor to, do a walkthrough of the place, check it out. And nobody lived here, dude. Like, nobody lived here.
So did you bring that up to the realtor? Like, who was this old lady standing in the window?
No, we were just too infatuated with the house.
Okay.
Cool house. I mean, the people that were selling it still had furniture here and stuff here, but they did not live here.
Okay.
Well, anyway, fast forward about a month or two, I'm getting up to go to work, and I come walking down the stairs, and I see an old lady come walking out of the front room and walk down the hallway right past me as I'm like halfway down the stairs. Weird thing about it was my kids had got me this color-changing LED nightlight to put in the hallway so I didn't fall my big ass down the stairs in the morning.
Yeah.
And I literally watched her change color when she walked by the nightlight.
Weird.
Didn't look at me, didn't acknowledge me, nothing, just walked right past me. I literally sat on the stairs for about 15 minutes and decided if I was actually going to go to work that day or not. I didn't want to go down the stairs the rest of the way.
Everybody else wakes up. What are you doing, Jim? Nothing at all.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out on the stairs.
Just wanted to check the creases on this wood, So so you saw essentially a full body apparition in your house a month after moving in.
Yeah.
Was there detail to her? Was there what stuck out the most, other than random old lady walking through your house? What stuck out to you?
The dress, dude. I could see her dress that she was wearing, and it literally looked like period time clothing.
What period? Like
Little House on the Prairie style dress.
Really? How old's the house?
The house was built, if I remember right, in 1895.
Okay, so it's an older dwelling. So it's
yes.
So somebody wearing that style clothing probably isn't too far outside the realm of thinking, right?
Yeah, our house was one of the first 15 houses in Allison.
You see this ghost, for lack of a better term. What was the next step? Did you just run out and buy equipment? Did you do some research on the house? What came next?
Well, we did some research on the house, and we went to the public library here in town, and we saw this book about the history of Allison.
Actually, let me stop you real quick. Who did you tell first about this, and did they believe you?
My wife. I told my wife.
What did she say?
That's when she told me about seeing the lady in the window when we drove by the house the first time to look at it.
Oh, weird. See, my wife would laugh at me. My wife doesn't believe in any of this stuff. So mine would have rolled their eyes at me and told me to go, do whatever I had to go get done. So that's interesting. Okay, so you go to the library. What did you find out?
Well, we found this book. It was a book that somebody had put together about the history of Allison. And we actually found our house in that book. It was known as the Woobana House. Because it went through... Yeah, they're people's last name.
Okay.
It went through 5 generations of their family. Well, come to find out, I was friends, I still am friends with a Woobana on Facebook. So I contacted him and asked him, if he knew the house. And he's like, yeah, that's my cousin's house. He put me in contact with his cousins that used to live here in the house.
Okay.
And the one was like, I said who I was and I lived in the house. And she goes, well, are you having problems with the ghosts?
Huh.
I was like, huh. So, yeah, just talking to them, and I learned some more history about the house, people that had passed away, literally what rooms they passed away in, just stuff like that. And then we also found out when we looked at that book that our house was owned by the town doctor from 1912 to 1915.
But that's all some action then.
Yeah. So, yeah, we literally don't know what happened.
So did you ever find out who the woman was, or did they have any guesses as to who the lady of the house was? Or
we never found out who it was.
Okay, so how long after that did you do an investigation at your house?
The group started literally in January of 2012.
Okay.
And I think that's when we did the investigation here. It was either January or February of 2012.
So how did you get your group together at that point? Did you just did you talk to people you knew? How did it kind of come around?
The group originally started out as me and my daughter, Drew.
Okay.
And then there was a dude that I worked with at work. We were pretty decent friends. So we were talking one day and I'm like, hey man, you want to start a paranormal group? He was like, hell yeah. So he joined, and then it was just like friends and stuff,
Okay. So you do an investigation at your house. Did you find stuff?
Dude, we didn't get a damn thing.
Of course, right? So then now everybody thinks you're just the crazy guy.
We got nothing. No EVPs, no nothing.
Did you investigate it multiple times or what's kind of life like in it now? Because if you were, when did you buy the house?
Oh, God. We've been here now 11 years, 12 years.
So in that time, have you ever seen the lady again?
No. Haven't seen the lady. My daughter, Drew, when she was still at home, her bedroom was downstairs. Her posters kept getting ripped off the walls.
Okay.
She'd come home from school, and every poster would be laying literally in the middle of her bedroom. Wasn't us. We weren't doing it.
Okay.
There was one night that I was upstairs laying in bed watching TV. Wife was working third shift, and our German Shepherd was laying up on the bed with me, and all of a sudden he sat up and alerted, looking at the doorway. I look over and I see this guy walk into our bedroom, go over by the closet, disappear. And the dog is watching him the whole time, but I could only see him from the waist up.
Oh, weird.
Clear as day. And lo and behold, come to find out, when we went and looked at that history book, there was a picture of the doctor that used to own our house. And I'm pretty sure that's who I saw walk into our room.
Oh, that's crazy. That is just insane. So, after it disappeared, how did the dog react?
He laid back down.
Just like,
laid
whatever.
Back down and went to sleep.
Huh. Did you go to sleep?
On the other hand, no. I did not sleep that night.
Oh, God.
We've seen shadow figures here in the house. There was one night we were sitting in the dining room eating dinner, and my wife, we've got between our dining room and our front room, which used to be the living room, there's this big-ass archway that you can walk through. And then at the other end of the room, there's a doorway that goes out into the hallway. So we're sitting at the dinner table eating dinner, and my wife gets up to go get something out of the kitchen, and I see her look into the front room, look away, look back really quick, and then haul ass into the kitchen. So I look at look into the front room from the dining room and at the doorway, and I see this shadow person, like extremely tall shadow person.
Really?
Just standing in the doorway, looking at us, and I literally see him turn and walk out of the doorway. Like, we're talking Will Conkle tall. That's how tall this thing was.
And there's your Farrar reference for this episode.
No, we've had some weird in this house.
You've had more in that house than some investigative groups find in their entire history.
We've had, well, now that I already mentioned Will has had an experience here in the house when he was here doing some work for us.
And Will Conkle, he was on The Haunting last year. Him and his wife Jacqueline, they're the caretakers of Farrar up in Farrar, Iowa. Just in case anybody doesn't know who we're talking about. Anyways, what was Will's story from that place?
Pretty much Will did our bathroom floor for us in the upstairs bathroom, and he had to fix some stuff down in the kitchen because we had a pipe that was leaking. So, yeah, he had to replace all that crap. He was in the house working, and me and my wife, God, did we go to the store for something? Anyway, he was in the kitchen. He heard our back door open, heard somebody walk through. He looked up and swear to God, my wife walked right by, into the house.
Really?
He said hi to her, and she just kept walking. We weren't even here, dude. We walked in the house like 10 minutes later. Will was like, what True story, dude. Ask him, man. He'll tell you.
I will. Will Conkle, great guy. Scares really easy.
Yeah.
He'll love hearing that part of the interview. This is The Haunting of KGGO.com, a KGGO.com exclusive. Jim Beck from Iowa Paranormal Investigation Society joining me right now. The house, hugely haunted. At that point, when did you guys start branching out, going to other places? How did the team grow from that?
Just talking to friends, people that I know, people that I've had experiences with, like after high school. Like that.
Okay. Did you guys start going, there's different types of groups out there. Ones that, they just go and pay to be in places. There's some that go, do the residential stuff. What was your guys' next step?
We actually started investigating people's houses.
Okay.
Our first residential investigation was for a lady that me and Brian worked with in the same department. And we went and investigated her house, and then over time, it wasn't too long after that, discovered Facebook and, made a Facebook page for the team. Actually, the Facebook page was originally called Creepy Chronicles. I know, lame.
I was actually thinking, I'm like, oh, that's not a bad name.
It was just a place for people to post their scary stories, stuff that's happened to them, But then after, we formed the team and got rolling, then my daughter, Jo, actually, I think it was either Jo or Emily, actually come up with the name Iowa Paranormal Investigation Society. And it stuck.
IPIS. Going to, into these residential places and such, what's one of those that really sticks out as a night that it was, oh my God, I can't believe we just caught that?
The one that sticks out in my head the most and will always stick out in my head is a house that we did up in Northwood, Iowa.
Okay. And like I've told everyone, don't feel like you have to mention names or addresses or, anything like that. We want to
I'm not. I hadn't planned on it. This lady had reached out to us on our page, and I had chatted with her, and she explained what was going on in the house, and that I think a grandmother if I remember, a grandmother or somebody had passed away in the house. They had fell and hit their head on the hardwood floor.
Oof.
And literally bled out on the floor.
Oh, wow.
They actually showed us the stain underneath the rug, at the house. It was like, whoa. And they found a box in this weird little cubby that had a bunch of old family stuff in it and stuff like that. But we investigated that place, And we actually investigated it with Will and Jacqueline and Rose from C&H. The upstairs bedroom, Will was checking it out with the millimeter, and he had like almost a 10 milligauss EMF spike, and there's nothing up there that could have done that. We even went outside and looked at the outside wall to see if there was like power wire or something like that.
Yeah.
But, just weird stuff like that. And we were all sitting down in the living room, and the people that lived there, were there that night. They're like, we told them they didn't have to leave or anything. But all of us and the husband were sitting out in the living room. Lights were on, we're just kind of sitting there bullshitting and taking a break. And all of a sudden, his wife comes out of their bedroom after she gets her kid to sleep, and she says something like, Aunt June, is that you? And we had all of our equipment going, just sitting there on the table. And as soon as she said that, everything just lit up.
Really?
Like A2 spikes, spirit box responses. It was just nuts. I will never forget that night.
And this was in Northwood, Iowa, correct?
Yep, Northwood, Iowa.
In some of these places, even your house included, have you ever come across something that malevolent? Maybe. I mean, I don't imagine Aunt June is going to ruffle too many feathers, right?
Yeah. No, we haven't really come across anything like that.
Okay.
Nothing like really bad or really dark. Not in anybody's house.
Okay. Jim Beck, the founder and lead investigator of Iowa Paranormal Investigation Society. So is it safe to say, let me ask you this. Is the most creeped out you've ever been in your own home?
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yes.
Oh, God. Have you ever came across a place where you saw as much of you as you've seen in your own house?
There was one house that we did. I can't remember the town, but it was out of the country somewhere, and it was a second or third generation farm.
Okay.
I remember we were out in this machine shed, communicating with whoever was there, and I saw this little ball of light out of the corner of my eye. So I looked over, and I'm just going to call it an orb. I know people call them light anomalies, but I saw this orb go cruising across this workbench with my own eyes. I looked down at my camcorder screen, and I watched it come across the screen, and there was two K2s sitting there probably about a foot apart.
Okay.
And I watched it cross over top of these K2s, and it went over the first one, the K2 spiked. It went over the second one, the K2 spiked. One another foot, and then it disappeared.
What do you think of orbs and that sort of thing? It seems like it seems like there's two camps. It's either something or it's nothing, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's either something or nothing, but I believe in them. I believe they exist. I mean, like I just said, I've seen one with my own eyes.
Okay.
I actually saw it not on the screen.
And I think and for those people who may not know or know exactly what we're talking about, with the light orb on like a piece of film or a camera roll or whatever, a lot of people say dust or something catching the light or whatever. But to me, it's one of those things. It's like, okay, we're here asking for Aunt June to show up, but we can't be bothered with a piece of light.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can explain it away, that's awesome. But to me, it always seems like, what if it's something?
Yeah.
Could it possibly be camera glare? Absolutely. Could it be a piece of dust? Absolutely. But there's sometimes.
What if that's the only way that they can show themselves?
Yeah. I always think that gets dismissed a little too quick. Sometimes you can tell it's, it's a bug or, something like that. But some of them I always think, well, because I'll tell you a quick story. Way back when a buddy of mine and I, we went and investigated. And by investigate, we just went out and took pictures of it and walked around for a little bit. But there's an old bridge on the south side of Des Moines. And in the pitch black, I got a blue light.
I've gotten one of those.
Explain that to me. It's like, okay, it's random energy, but it's kind of outside the realm of the normal, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's theories that, you can get different colored orbs, and each color is supposed to mean something different. Like, obviously, if it's a black orb, you're dealing with badass demonic or whatever,
Yeah.
But kind of going with your story there, way back when, me and my wife now, it was my girlfriend back then, or maybe we were married. Look, I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
I just came up on 8 years, and it's like, okay, we did it.
Yeah, we got married in 2001.
Okay.
So I can't remember if we were married yet or not. But anyway, we were out cruising around on some gravels with a buddy of mine and his wife, and all four of us were crammed in the front seat of this pickup truck. And we parked outside the gates of this old cemetery out in the country, and I had one of those little wind-up disposable cameras. And we're sitting there looking in this cemetery, and there's like, moonlight in the background, all that crap. And I got the camera up to my eye just in case I see something, because I was ready. And I swear to God, I saw like a head peek out from behind a tree back in the back part of the cemetery.
Oh, wow.
As soon as I saw that, I clicked the camera, went and got the pictures developed a week later. And yeah, dude, right where I saw that head, there was a blue light, and everything else was pitch black.
See, that's weird. To me, it's like, okay, it might not be grade A evidence or whatever, but it still might be something.
Yeah, it's still something.
So,
it's like paranormal. It means not normal. If you cannot explain what it is, then, it's got to be something.
Have you done many cemetery investigations?
No, I will not investigate a cemetery.
Just
out of respect.
Out of respect. Okay, that's kind of what it seems like. People are either cool with it or not. It's kind of like the orb thing. You're either cool with it or you're not,
Yeah, I'm one of the ones that's not cool with it, man. That's like their resting place.
Understood.
Just leave them alone.
Yeah, no, I get you. Jim Beck from Iowa Paranormal Investigation Society joining me on the haunting of KGGO.com. As we make our way through this, I want to get to the Old Sumner School, which is a place that you have a lot of ties to right now. But before we get there, what's the single most creeped out you've ever been?
Being alone in a dark room with Will.
I was going to say, is it your own house, or because you have kind of an interesting thing where I think a lot of people get into the paranormal for a couple of different reasons. They're either just genuinely interested in it, or they have something happen that they can't explain, so they want to learn more, Or let me ask you this: is there a place that you don't feel comfortable at? Like, if someone said, "Hey, let's go investigate this place again," you'd be like, "I don't think so." I mean, a man with your beard shouldn't be afraid of much, so.
I don't have that beard anymore,
Really?
Yeah, dude. You didn't. Well, we'll get into that when we start talking about the Sumner School.
Do you have no beard at all now?
I have goatee. I've got my goatee. I don't have my full beard anymore. That completely disappeared.
That's just scary. That's scary in itself.
Yeah, we'll get into that when we start talking about Sumner.
Okay.
I can't think of a place that I would not go back and investigate.
How about this? Is there a place that you came out of and you had the heebie-jeebies about, like, okay, there's something weird in that place? And if not, it's fine. I mean, different investigators are different.
Yeah, I can't, dude, honestly, I can't think of any. Okay. I really can't.
Okay. Has anything ever followed you home?
Honestly, I can't say. It could have, it could be here at my house. It could be, something could have followed me home, but honestly, yeah. I don't know.
When you guys go and investigate, and I know before we were recording, you said that it's been awful slow lately, but when you guys go out and investigate, what kind of investigation do you run? Because there's kind of a spectrum between the spiritual and the scientific side. And I think most groups kind of lean one way or the other with it. Which way do you guys lean?
Well, like, okay, when you say spiritual, do you mean like religious stuff?
Well, I mean like the folks that say they're sensitive to this type of stuff. Anything from psychic to using the what are the I can't think of what they're called, the sticks and stuff to investigate.
Oh, dowsing rods.
Dowsing rods. That kind of, like, I consider that stuff kind of the on one end of the spectrum, and then on the other end you have more of the cameras, K2, that kind of stuff.
So I guess we'd be on the more scientific side. We've got the cameras, the K2s, the REM pods, spirit boxes, all that cool stuff. But personally, myself, I'm not saying I'm a psychic. I'm not saying I'm sensitive. That has never come out of my mouth. I can tell when something is around.
Okay. I get the feeling of, like, when I'm out on an investigation, and it doesn't matter if it's inside or out or whatever, there's that feeling. The only way I can describe it is is when you go into an empty house, there's a certain feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
When you, and this is especially a house that isn't yours. When you go into a house that's got people in it, it has a certain feel to it. And when you're in a place that's empty, it feels empty.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, nobody's home right now.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what it is, or?
It's more, God, how do I put it? Okay, it can be dead of winter time, and we could be, say, outside investigating a barn, just for example, and I will get blazing hot.
Okay.
Like, I will literally start sweating. My body will get hot. I'll start getting tingly, stuff like that.
And then I look at my wife and give her the nod. Okay, so you have physical reactions to this type of stuff.
Yeah, another fun fact that kind of ties into that, and I have had people witness this. If I really, really, really get into an investigation and it's going really good and we're communicating and stuff like that, I can literally set off a K2 meter.
Really?
Yes. I have had people witness that happen.
That's cool. And a K2 meter, for some folks, it basically just picks up energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, basically picks up energy. But yeah, I mean, if it's really hopping and I'm really into an investigation, I can literally set off a K2 meter.
Jim Beck from Iowa Paranormal Investigation Society joining me on the line right now as we make our way through The Haunting of KGGO.com, a KGGO.com exclusive. Let's move up to the Old Sumner School. This is a place, obviously, in Sumner, Iowa. What's going on here? Because tell us what your role is with the place and what kind of the story and the history of this joint is.
Years ago, when we first got the group going, we had to be like everybody and get T-shirts made. And I got put in contact with a guy in Sumner that made T-shirts, so I had him make us up some shirts. And
that's so true, by the way. As soon as you have to get the name, and then you have to get the T-shirts made.
Got to get the T-shirts, man. It's like standard issue gear. This dude made us some T-shirts, and I went up to his house to pick them up, and literally from his house, I saw the school.
Okay.
Because it's like a block away, half a block away. And I drove by it, and I stopped, and I took a picture of it, and I posted it on our IPIS page, and I was like, man, I would love to investigate this place.
Well, let me ask you this. When you just see a random building like this, and did it just put off a vibe that you thought, okay, that place is haunted?
No, it looks cool,
Okay.
It's like,
all right.
I would love to go and explore that place. So I put the picture on our page, and I was contacted by a lady that's like, hey, yeah, I can get you in there.
Okay.
I had to she talked with the current board at the time. Didn't know there was a museum inside the school. It's the Memories Are Forever Museum.
Okay.
She talked to them. They're like, yeah, cool, they'd come in and investigate. So we went in and investigated, caught some really cool stuff, which sadly I don't have anymore because I deleted all of it.
Oh, nice job.
And went back and showed them, and then that was it.
When you went and talked to these people originally, did they say the place was haunted? Did they say that there was weird stuff happening? Or was it just you wanted to investigate it, and lo and behold, there's something going on in the place? Yeah,
they never said, nobody ever said they've ever had anything happen, nothing like that. They were just like, yeah, okay.
All right, crazy bearded man.
Fast forward to last year, I had seen the picture of the school in one of the groups that I'm in, and people were talking about it, blah, 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 all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, I commented on the picture. I'm like, man, I loved investigating this place. One of the ladies that is on the board now contacted me and asked if we were the group that investigated, years ago. Because we're the only group that's ever been in that building. Okay. And I was like, yeah, it was us. And she's like, well, do you have any of the footage that you guys caught? Because they were doing like a overnight at the museum thing, kind of having a sleepover, trying to raise money for the roof and stuff. Okay. I'm like, no, I don't have any of the footage anymore, but if you would like, we would be willing to come back and do like a investigation with you guys where you could join us, and investigate the building. So she was like, hell yeah, man, let's do that. So me and my daughter, Jo, went that night, and there was maybe 6 or 7 of us total that were there.
Okay.
And we investigated the building and came home, later on that morning, went over the stuff, found a lot of stuff. Some of those clips are what I sent you.
Yeah.
And
what did you find in the place?
Which time?
All right. First time there. What was the piece of evidence or just experience you had in the place that goes, okay, there's something going on here?
The main piece of evidence that sticks out that I really feel like a dumbass for deleting was we were sitting up on the second floor outside of the study hall room, and our one investigator, Star, had her camcorder pointed at the study hall doors. One of them was open, and she literally caught on camera this gray mass-looking thing walk out of the study hall door, and then 30 seconds later, it walked back in. And she saw it on her screen in real time because she reacted to it.
Oh, but couldn't see anything else, right?
No.
So when you came back to work with this group and do this overnight stay, what did you guys catch? We got some pretty decent EVPs, a lot of spirit box interaction, stuff like that. Nothing visual. Okay.
It was all audio. But after I got everything gone through, I got a hold of her. I'm going to say her name. Her name's Trish. And she set up a board meeting to show what we had caught.
Okay.
Like a day before this meeting, I'm talking to my wife, and I'm like, I got this crazy idea, I'm going to talk to them and see if they'd be willing to open the place up to other investigators, kind of help raise money.
Yeah.
Because it's a nonprofit. Showed them the stuff. They were pretty impressed. Ran the idea by them, and, they were like, yeah, let's do it. You set it up. You set up the groups. And then later on that night, I ended up joining the board, if I remember right, as the special events coordinator. And I was in charge of all the paranormal stuff.
Did you get a special T-shirt made for that?
Not yet.
Soon, though. Soon.
It's coming. But yeah, that's how I got involved with the museum.
Okay, so Old Sumner School, which is now what was the name of the museum again?
Memories Are Forever.
Memories Are Forever. This is all in Sumner, Iowa. Kind of closed down right now due to COVID, though, correct?
Yeah, due to COVID, and we got broke into, and the place got vandalized. Yeah, not good.
Okay,
not good.
All right, so why do you think, what's the story with this place? Is it... I always think it's interesting. For some reason, it's always old schools that are haunted.
Yeah, me and you have talked about this before.
You've got Farrar. There's a joint that I've been down to, and I forget where it's at. It's called the Twilight Tea Room. It used to be a school. There's a couple other of them, but I can't think of what they are off the top of my head. What is it about this place that you think is haunted?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it's because of all of the stuff that is in the school as part of the museum.
So
it
could be attached to something else that has history. It just happens to be in the school. Okay.
Yeah, it could just be stuff that is attached to something that's in that school.
If you were going to guess, would that be it?
Yeah, that would kind of be my guess because, like I said, the first time we investigated it was a museum. So, I mean, I've tried to do research on the place.
Because it is old. What year was it? Because you told me what year it was built, and it was like 1901 or so.
The big main part of the school was built in 1901, and then it had additions put on throughout the years. So yeah, it was built in 1901.
Wow.
That building was.
Okay. All right. So when people come to investigate this place, what could they expect?
A lot of noises, a lot of unexplained noises, cold drafts out of nowhere, that tingly, staticky feeling when you walk into certain parts.
Okay.
Every time my daughter's been there with me, she's gotten touched. Something will play with her hair or poke her in the side or something like that.
Okay. Have other people had those experiences?
Well, the night that me and my daughter went up and did that investigation for them, after we left, Trish said that they were all in the study hall room and they could hear somebody walking around on the floor above them.
Okay.
So, and everybody was in that room. So they were all accounted for.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So once COVID's kind of done and things start to open back up, are people going to be able to go to the Old Sumner School again and investigate?
I am really, really, really hoping so.
Okay.
The roof is going to be getting done here probably towards the end of October. That's the latest update that we found out. So, I mean, there's no heat or nothing in the building. So once, we can go back in the building, it won't be till like March or April.
Okay.
So,
but if there's a paranormal group out there that's listening to this right now, if they wanted to get in touch with you about doing this, they could, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Best way to do that would be on your Facebook page, right?
Yeah, on the IPIS page. That's where I had it set up before for people to get a hold of me that wanted to book the place.
Okay, I will. I'll have a link to that at the bottom of the page. Jim Beck from Iowa Paranormal Investigation Society is on the line with me right now. As we kind of start getting to the point of wrapping this up, a lot of this stuff, what do you think about it? Like, do you think it is... just energy? Do you think it is somebody from the other side? Do you think it is demons or, what have you? What's kind of your take on the paranormal?
I think a lot of it is energy, like leftover energy. I'm going to start to sound like an idiot here pretty soon.
Too late.
Yeah, I know.
No, but
like I said, I think...
I mean, have you ever come across something that you go, oh, that's a demon or that's a poltergeist or something like? People have names for all this stuff, but what do you think most of it is? I know nothing but the hard-hitting questions here on the Haunting of KGGO.com.
Yeah, you suck. Like I said before, I haven't really ran across anything like that.
Okay.
I've heard that some of these places that I've investigated or my group has investigated have malevolent spirits or a demon or what the ever, but I've never experienced it.
Okay.
I just think that sometimes they tend to get a little pissy.
Oh, yeah, that's
just like us.
Okay, you know what? I've never actually even thought about that. That maybe it's just a ghost that's tired of answering your damn questions.
Exactly. The same questions over and over and over again. Maybe they're annoyed. They just want us to leave them the hell alone.
Brings up an interesting question. I've seen a lot. I don't know why I've been stuck on this, but I've noticed a lot of groups. They'll do the thing. Hey, if you prove that you're here, we'll leave, and they never leave.
And then they don't.
It's like, what does the ghost have to do? Bake you a pie?
Make you a pie and cut you a piece.
Yeah, I mean, at what point do you go, okay, you know what? You proved we're here, we're keeping our word, and we're going to leave. So, yeah, I could see how things could, like you said, get a little pissy from time to time.
Mm-hmm. That's my theory on it.
Okay, all right. You never said, what happened to the beard?
Okay, we'll get into that here in a second. I'm outside checking my smoker again while I'm talking to you. This thing's temperamental, man. It likes to jump temperature every once in a while.
Okay, what are we smoking today?
Okay, smoking a pork butt.
Nice. Jim Beck's famous smoked pork butt.
Yeah, I should start. I have a bunch of people saying I should start my own barbecue business, but I'm not that good.
What do you? What do you use to smoke? What's kind of your trademark, I should say?
I started out on a little Bradley electric smoker.
Okay.
That burns little compressed sawdust pucks. It kicks one out every 20 minutes, so you don't really have to mess with it.
Okay.
I've still got that. I just upgraded to one of those Pit Boss whiskey still looking pellet smokers.
Oh.
And I use the out of that thing. That's what I'm using today.
But she's a little temperamental, you said.
She's a little temperamental. It likes to jump temp every once in a while, or the auger will get stuck and it'll drop temp. Then it'll unjam and dump a bunch of pellets, and then the temp will jump. But I love that thing to death.
Are we okay? Is the pork butt okay?
Oh, yeah, it's fine. It's got a long time to go yet.
Okay. Jim, let me ask you this as we kind of wrap things up, because you're a guy that you had stuff happen and you decided to make a group. What advice would you give to somebody that is maybe looking down that road? Like, they want to learn more about this. They want to do investigations. They want to do what you do. What would you tell them?
Just do it. Get in contact with groups and see if they'll let you tag along and get some experience. And then if you feel comfortable enough to start your own group, go for it.
What's the most annoying thing someone can do while they're investigating with you?
Oh, there's so many.
Like, what's one thing, like, when someone comes in that hasn't done it a lot, what do you think? Because Will, going back to Will for a second, he made fun of me because I'm kind of a wanderer.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of wander around while I'm doing stuff. I don't know why that is. It's just kind of something that's worked for me.
Well, yeah, that's one thing, because, like, if it's a smaller investigation, we try and stay together.
Yeah.
Just so we don't cross-contaminate each other. People taking pictures with flash on,
okay,
and not saying that they're going to take the picture, and then all of a sudden you look over and you're staring right at the camera when the flash goes off. That's always a good time.
Just ruined your vision for the next few minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
What would you say for, because you said you guys were kind of scientific based, equipment wise? What would you tell someone? Okay, this is the one piece. This is the one thing I'd tell you to get right now if you're looking to start.
I would say a camcorder with the night vision.
Okay.
All of my EVPs that I've caught have been on the camcorder.
Okay.
I've never caught an EVP on a digital recorder. I used to have one, and I traded it for a vape because I didn't use it because I never caught anything on it.
That's funny.
But I mean, with the camcorder, if you've got everybody in the same room and it's quiet and everybody's in there and you can prove it and you get an EVP, then yeah, you can validate it. Be like, this person's here. Okay. Nobody was talking at the time.
Good deal. All right. Well, Jim Beck, he is the founder and lead investigator of Iowa Paranormal Investigation Society. If people want to get a hold of you, just hit you up through the Facebook page, correct?
Yeah.
Other than the
do you want my beard story really quick?
Yeah, I do. I want to know what happened.
Okay, we're doing a fundraiser to raise money to get the roof redone on the Sumner School.
You shaved it for charity.
I started a GoFundMe page and I set a goal for $10,000. It kind of climbed a little bit and then stalled out,
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, if we hit $5,000, I will shave my beard off live on Facebook. It kind of jumped up a little bit after that,
Yeah.
And then my wife was like, dude, you need to up the ante. Say you're going to wax your chest.
Oh.
Okay. If we hit $5,000, I'll shave my beard off live on Facebook, and I will get my chest waxed live on Facebook. Son of a bitch, if that didn't do it.
That's wonderful.
If you look at my personal profile, you will find the live feeds.
Oh, I'm gonna go look this up
me.
Here.
I trim my beard off with clippers up at the museum.
Okay.
And I don't get signal up there, so we literally had to record that part.
Yeah.
So my wife was trimming it down while I was holding the camera, and she got down to pretty much where it was just a goatee. And I tilted the camera down so you couldn't see it, and she trimmed off the rest of my goatee.
Oh.
Stopped that video, drove home, covered my face in shaving cream so nobody could see my face, and then went live of me shaving my beard off, completely, clean shaven.
It's such a good story, but you've got such a great beard.
Yeah. I remember that when I first met you. That's the first thing you said.
I was enamored by your beard. It was just a very powerful. There you are with no beard.
Yeah.
That's the most horrifying thing I've ever seen.
But then the next day, we went Facebook Live, and my wife waxed my chest and my back live on Facebook.
Oh.
You should watch that video. I think you'll enjoy some of the looks that I shoot her.
I will definitely do it. As someone who has had waxing done before, it is not fun.
No, especially on your chest, and I'm a damn grizzly bear anyway.
Have you ever had it in your nose?
No.
I did that for a remote last year. Talk about having your soul ripped out.
Oh, I bet that's fun.
All right, Jim. Well, hey, do you guys got anything big coming up paranormal-wise, or are you guys still shut down just because of COVID?
Yeah, there's nothing going on right now, and I don't see anything going on for a while. So,
are you guys still open to doing residential houses and that sort of thing?
Of course.
Okay, so if someone is listening to this and they're like, I got something weird happening in my house, and I want a guy that used to have a really good beard, investigate it. They can get a hold of you, right?
Just shoot us a message on the IPAS page.
I'm not going to let go of the beard.
Yeah.
Are you going? Are you going to grow it back out?
Yeah, I've got my goatee back. You know, I started growing my beard back out, and then it started itching really bad, so I shaved it down to a goatee. But now that I look how long my goatee is, I was like, man, I shouldn't have just shaved that off again. I'll grow it back eventually.
You clean shaven is what people catch in demonic houses.
That I would not doubt. I would not doubt.
Jim, it's good talking to you. He is the founder and lead investigator of Iowa Paranormal Investigation Society, also the special events coordinator, I believe.
Yes.
At the Old Sumner School in Sumner, Iowa, if anybody is looking to investigate that joint once things open back up. Jim, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it, man.
Not a problem, man. It was fun.